Hello and welcome everybody to the sixth and final episode in the ESM podcast series. We're coming to you today from Open Text Summit, and once again, I, John Gilbert, will be talking to Dewald, Plessis and to Chris Visagie, the co-founders of UnlimitIT, around ESM. And specifically, our topic today is learning from the service management practice over the decades and how UnlimitIT can really assist and add value. But I think to set the tone for the day, and this being the sixth and final episode in the series, maybe I can put it to you to kind of convey to the audience today, what is it that you'd really like to get across as a message, provide to them as a value add, and what are some of what you really think they can get out of our session today?
John, thank you very much for the opportunity to talk to you and our followers. First of all, thank you very much for Open Text putting up this wonderful summit. This type of level of commitment from the OEMs on brilliant technology and just giving back to the industry, ensuring that the technology kind of deliver on all its promises and capabilities. Other than that, we're coming to the end of our series, and we'd like to just kind of put everything together in a nice high-level perspective on where the value is in enterprise service management.
Fantastic. I think it's been quite a long and, as many journeys are, sometimes a tumultuous journey with highs and lows over the decades of the process of ESM. And what have you seen as some of the key milestones along that journey that you can share with the audience today?
Yeah, John. So if you look back over the years, so not a lot of people know that digital service management was the first version of digital service management was back in the 80s. And back in the 80s, when it started off as an idea and as a concept, it was really basically known as a ticketing system or a registration of calls or managing something in a bit formalized fashion. This also creates a problem for us today, because enterprise service management and even ITSM has evolved so much. It is not only a ticketing system. But in that time, in the early 2000s, it was very focused on IT and driven on IT processes and understanding IT. Systems and platforms and OEMs evolved during the years from the early 2000s, and it became a bit more formalized, a bit more workflow driven. And that created a unique environment for business to start making use of these workflows and processes and bringing some structure into the environment. The problem at that point in time, it became very code heavy. A lot of organizations, to develop something specifically for business and even for IT to bring that alignment together was very development heavy, and created a scenario where organizations got stale investments, stale platforms they couldn't upgrade. Upgrades became heavy and expensive. And then again, service management got a bit of a bad name. And as we evolved, organizations and OEMs and software vendors and people such as ourselves saw that this problem exists, and we tried all sorts of mechanisms how to bypass this. Come the day of codeless environments, a lot of the current leading OEMs are supporting no code, and this has created a unique opportunity for organizations to invest in service management as well as to ensure that their investment stays resilient and has got a roadmap going forward. This brought back the notion of enterprise service management, because the maintenance or the technical debt of those platforms aren't that expensive anymore as it was in the past. We can ensure that the systems remain vital, resilient, and has a roadmap. Which brings us into the day and age where we currently is, where we talk about automation, AI being a big player, and the potential impact of AI, as we have gone through our previous podcast. How do we personalize things to a specific environment? And this notion of low code, the notion of artificial intelligence coming into the environment, all of these are enablers of driving that personalization, making integrations easier, because integrations gives us context of that data. And the result of that is to support the digital business, right? Making the business more relevant, enabling the business to make those decisions on what they are seeing happening in their operational environment, which, as Dewald always says, can have an effect on the bottom line. Dewald, do you want to add something?
I think, no, Chris, I think you kind of nailed it there. Nothing really to add. I think there's a fair amount still to get through.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I think the rest will come out in the wash.
Sure. Yeah, it's certainly, you know, it does sound like it's been a long journey from an IT perspective, certainly from a long time. And you've seen a lot of changes over those decades and over the years. And I think, you know, as is often the case, particularly when you're pioneering something and embarking on a new journey, there are inevitable pitfalls. So you're going to be mistakes that are made along the way. And what are some of those learnings that you think that organizations that might be early on in their journey and or looking just to enhance their current environment can take from other organizations that you've seen embarking on this, who've walked the road before? And how can we assist them so that they don't fall into those same pitfalls, make the same mistakes, or how they can, you know, enhance their process and maybe get results a little bit faster?
Yeah, I think if one can maybe something which Chris kind of mentioned when stuff became more formal in the 90s, you know, let's use ITIL as a point of departure. Let's talk about people, process, and technology. So from Chris touched a little bit on it. We're working with people. So you know, make systems. Makes enterprise service management relevant to people. Make it easy for them to consume and have applications that is intuitive. Right. So include people in the process. It's imperative. They're supporting your environment. If they're not going to use the technology, that would be kind of the first thing to watch out for. Process, by far the biggest killer for this type of environment is over complex processes. Processes which is misaligned with your maturity of your organization. And one needs to understand where you want to get to in this journey. It is a journey. And then from a technology perspective, yeah, automation is great. But when you get automation wrong, you know, it can really bite and hurt yourself. Something additional on the technology side, and we've seen a fair amount of this, and we've personally with some customers been on journeys, made some of these mistakes. Having your segregated environments during your development life cycles. I think most organizations will immediately tell you that, listen, we've got our test, dev, and ops environment.
Sure.
But when it comes to the nitty-gritty integration side of it, it's very difficult to always have all those levels of integration, test, dev, and then prod. A best way of doing it is to kind of follow a route of typically it's called service virtualization to ensure that you actually don't connect to potentially wrong environments.
Okay. You know, it leads me to think about disruptive and emerging technologies. You know, this is such a hot topic at the moment, and I think, you know, it's developing at such a rapid rate and almost becoming already prolific in so many aspects of our private lives as well as obviously in the business environment. What are some of the core trends that you're seeing around emerging technologies from an ESM and ITSM perspective that you think are worth noting?
So the problem is, it would almost be problematic if you ignore the potential of AI. The potential of AI coupled with machine learning. I mean, we are here today to speak about generative AI and the potential impact of that. Inherently, potentials that we are seeing, you know, from a user experience, from a user adoption, as well as from having a better view into data, better view into processes. AI could potentially be that game changer for organizations, showing them where data inefficiencies lie, highlighting where process inefficiencies lie. And just from a practical point of view, right, so having the ability to communicate in a system with your home language, right, and does not matter what anyone else down the value chain talks, you know, what the language they speak, having the ability to automatically see that. Having the ability for AI to assist you in driving, you know, doing problem analysis or maybe doing risk assessment, having a better understanding of that. I mean, we are talking about a mass amount of volumes of data that typically a human being cannot read. I mean, if you go back into the 80s, right, a normal log file was at best 10, 20, 30 lines of entries. Today, It's millions of lines. You cannot read that. So you need something to help you. And I really believe this is where AI will come to the fore, and machine learning will enable us to identify potential anomalies so that we can understand what's happening quite quicker, much more efficient. This brings us into the world of automation. If we look at digital business and where organizations are going, coupled with AI and machine learning, businesses that continue in a partnership or create partnerships, we're talking about APIs, it becomes difficult understanding all of the different APIs, all the different syntaxes and all these things. AI can definitely have an effect on that. And this is a sub-level of automation. Then we're talking about orchestration, right? Going physically, having a system as part of a process record to fulfill something, going out and doing something. There are mass amounts of value hidden there and efficiencies. Later on today, we're going to speak about a customer that just by automating emails, the ingestion of emails, saves 500 minutes a day in the production environment. Now, if you calculate that over a year, on salaries and time wasted, it becomes very large numbers, what Dewald likes to call the compounded effect. Dewald?
Yeah, thank you, Chris. I would like to talk about three specific topics. I'm going to because they're a bit intertwined. One typically being SaaS. I want to talk about this code, low code, no code type of environments. And then, this big drive in the industry that we've got around citizen development. So getting back to SaaS, I think it's a nice way for organizations to actually get back to why they started their organizations. Focus on your core business, especially as it starts adopting AI and machine learning and automation. The infrastructure requirements for this type of stuff and scalability becomes an immediate potential stumbling block as soon as you start to expand. Running it in SaaS, and so most of these AI type of environments and larger platforms require a vast amount of different type of operating systems. We're talking about Kubernetes. It becomes really, really complex. And if you kind of let your SaaS partner take care of that for you, you kind of have got more focus on actually your core business. Then just to follow on low code or no code type environments, these platforms it is truly something where you can pull your employees and the business closer to focusing on getting the true value out of these type platforms, enabling them to create workflow, creating business rules, because inherently they understand the business best. So this low code, no code type of environments, really, really a big game changer. And then, and this obviously then supports the whole citizen development type of drive currently in the industry. Yeah, so Chris, maybe you want to talk about some of the platform views that which I think is a big value in, and we can maybe talk about some additional insights.
Thanks, Dewald. Yes. So if you look at, as Dewald has said, the codeless environment, the citizen development environment, a lot of these software vendors, you can see this in the trends, as well as from a customer community perspective, they are asking for something more simple. And they are asking for a holistic view. Something that has been in the market for a long time, the term single pane of glass, it's still there. And you can see it from a software OEM point of view. A lot of the software vendors are currently looking at how do we collapse into a single platform and give that single capability to our customer base, but in a easy to consume, cost-effective way. And you can see that everywhere. And here we talk specifically about a single system of record, having insight, and this is also a trend, but it's a bit more having insight into my global operational environment. Right? Organizations run hybrid clouds, right? And this includes my private cloud, my hypervisors on-premise and these type of things. We need to manage that from a single point of view. We need to understand what the cost impact is. We need to understand what the resource impact is, infrastructure-wise and human-wise. Asset management, right? Organizations are looking at ways to be more cost effective. Problem is they don't know what assets they've got. They don't know how to depreciate that. They don't know where they are, even if they exist. So asset management's coming back quite a lot. If you look at organizations that's got multitudes of data, so content management is coming into the fray. So we are starting to see from a platform view, this is an old term. I think it died off in the mid-2000s. I think it's coming back. It's my prediction. Business service management is definitely what we are supporting from an enterprise point of view. Right, so enterprise service management, but more business service management, isolating and focusing on where the real value is. This points, and all of this brings into the view is, in the old days we called it reporting or KPI reporting. It was relabeled business intelligence. Now it's something else. It's called insights, observability. It is having a view into your data that makes sense in a consolidated view, end to end. What happened? And tracking that transaction or the event or whatever happened from an end-to-end view and seeing exactly where what played. This also starts talking to something that's called value streams, right? Where is the value? How do we quantify what that value is? And how do we understand what is it that we need to do to actually achieve that real value? I think that's the bigger trends currently we are seeing in the market. All of these have got subtle nuances to them,
Sure.
But from a high level, I think that's quite close.
So just to kind of elaborate on that a little bit, do you really feel that actionable, meaningful insights available at the right time is a reality, something that can be achieved and is a definitive possibility? It's not a push too far, and it's not something that one has to, overinvest and is hugely capital intensive.
So I'll start, and then I'm going to throw Dewald under the bus. Right, so I definitely do believe it, right? So if you look at, most of these systems still running on some sort of database, right? And from a traditional point of view, we can still access that database. And we've got these days all sorts of new and wonderful ways how to visualize that data. The problem is the data volumes are getting so large. This is where we need machine learning to be able to help us understand what data is relevant. And then, visually putting some sort of visualization against that, it's a sort of a subtle thing, that a subjective thing, something that you like and how you would like to see it. But I really believe that the way that data repositories are starting to be utilized, the way that data repositories are stored and data transverses over the network, definitely we can get insights to that. The problem is, it's again the old adage, right? Junk in, junk out. So if you don't have the right data, you're not going to get the value. And if you don't know what you want to see, you're not going to get the data either. Because what are you trying to see? And I think the thing that Dewald is very passionate about, and I'm going to hand over to him, is having an objective, having a theme for the business, because this will drive your insights. Dewald, do you want to talk a bit more about your theme thing?
Theme thing you tell. I think Chris, thank you for kind of digging a bit into the technical landscape, how it can support it. I do believe, and really what it boils down to is to be able to report and to measure. So, and I would like to take it with all this technical capability. Which I think can make stuff one for unreal. We just need to take a little bit, a few steps back, and start from business strategy and business objectives. Right? So, and what we like to do with our customers, and to ensure that you get that value from a business objective strategy, following through right to the business, is to come up, do your innovation, what you want to do in your business, tied towards your strategy, and then I would like to use the term by theming it. So create themes in your that supports your strategy, and then hand those themes off to your functional areas inside your business, and let them come up with the practicalities and tactical ways to align with these themes, because you achieve then multiple things in it. So one, the people on the ground, you get real-time, practical, tactical ways how to achieve those things. Plus, you immediately get to a point of adoption. And we spoke about people, processes, and technologies, and then you'll start to simplify those processes. So if you take it back all the way from strategy, business strategy, and outcomes, which you like, and you use the underlying technology and to be able to report on it, to be able to tie on it, that is definitely then makes your initial question definitely possible.
I think you've addressed a couple of different issues there. You know, the big one being the tying up between IT capability and possibilities and core business outcomes, which I think is always just such a relevant and again, a topical theme that comes through in this environment. And I was going to ask you for some of your top hints and suggestions, but I think you've really covered that off in what you've kind of relayed and shared there. You know, so, you know, I think this is a hugely competitive environment, and it's quite difficult to navigate for, you know, those organizations, as I say, that are either starting their ESM journey or looking at enhancing their existing environment. And what is it that you think from your organization's perspective is a key differentiator, and not necessarily a differentiator from anyone else, but something that you really take a lot of pride in and you know, think is something that you do exceptionally well as UnlimitIT?
Yeah, Chris, you can add if you like. First and foremost, you know, we don't engage with customers prescriptively. All right, so everyone's aware of best practices and standards. We prepare to walk the journey with you, because this is a journey. It is not, and that's another big misperception out in some customers have, is this is a quick fix. It's not a quick fix. It's a way of working. It's a way of life. So we're, from an UnlimitIT perspective, you know, we're going to prepare to walk the journey with you. We have made mistakes in the past. Our customers have made mistakes, and it's just that collective compounded effect of knowledge, which we happily share and prepare to take the journey with our customers. Chris, want to add?
Yeah, I think you hit it on the head. Just one thing that I would like to add to that is, you know, and I think most of our customers can vouch for that, we like to partner with them. You know, Dewald and I say, you know, let UnlimitIT be your journey partner of choice. We like to be a partner, walk the walk with you, right? Show the value and listen to you, and have that understanding of what is it that you want to achieve. We are really true believers in, you know, let us help you reach your digital potential, because we really believe you can do, you know, quite a lot with enterprise service management supporting you. And I think, you know, yeah, Dewald hit it on the head, and I think, you know, we like to journey with you. Feel free to, you know, look us up. But yeah, I think that's what makes us unique is, you know, we walk the walk with you. We will not run away. We're not scared of a challenge. And Dewald loves to have challenges. He calls it opportunities. So, you know, yeah, definitely.
So I think, you know, on that note, it's a great point to kind of wrap things up and say, let's not let the conversation end here. This is the final episode in the series, but let's look for platforms and engagement where we can continue the conversation. I want to thank both of you for your time and for your input over the course of the entire series. And also thank our audience for allowing us the time to you know, hear what we have to say, hear your insights and your views. I'm quite confident that there's been value add, and certainly from my perspective, I've learned a lot. But we thank you for your time, your input, and we want to wish you every bit of luck on your journeys forward. And thank you both, and thanks everyone for being here today from the Open Tech Summit. Thank you and goodbye.